Food bloggers, hi, how are you today? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Eat Blog Talk podcast. This is the place for food bloggers to get information and inspiration to accelerate your blog's growth and ultimately help you to achieve your freedom, whether that's financial, personal, or professional. I'm Megan Porta. I have been a food blogger for 13 years, so I understand how isolating food blogging can be. I'm on a mission to motivate, inspire, and most importantly, let each and every food blogger, including you, know that you are heard and supported. Hey food bloggers, check out our new SEO Supercut, a bonus 15-minute episode capturing highlights from SEO episodes that we have recorded recently. Go to eatblogtalk.com/SEO Supercut to get access today. If you've been a blogger long enough, you have likely heard of the Blog Fixer. I know I have personally used their service for my own blog a couple of times over the years, frantically, needing certain quick fixes. Kris and Katie Kimball join me in this interview from the Blog Fixer. They talk about their story and how Katie started blogging a long time ago and how Kris's tech knowledge was really helpful for her blog and how that got him rolling with the Blog Fixer. In the episode, they talk about the most popular fixes for food bloggers' sites, what makes the Blog Fixer unique as a plugin, and how they stay on top of relevant information in our space in order to serve food bloggers' businesses. They also provide a very generous offer, so be sure to listen to find out how to get your own free site scan. This is an extremely generous offer that they gave. I hope you love this episode, but also find great value in the Blog Fixer, sponsored by RankIQ. Maybe you are eager to join one of the Eat Blog Talk mastermind groups, but not quite ready to make the full investment. The Eat Blog Talk accountability group could be the perfect solution for you. For just $34 a month, you will be part of a supportive community that offers weekly accountability check-ins, a private Slack channel, live productivity sessions, and monthly Zoom calls with fellow bloggers and me, Megan Porta. We are here to help you stay on track, stay motivated, and connected as you build your brand and work towards your big blogging goals. If you are ready to move forward without the pressure of a huge commitment, visit eatblogtalk.com/focus and claim your spot today. Kris Kimball is a software developer who left the corporate world of banking in 2015 to start the Blog Fixer. His company helps thousands of WordPress bloggers like his wife, Katie, automate the boring technical stuff so they can focus on what they love. Kris and Katie are full-time online entrepreneurs, raising 4 kids, and they love hiking in the mountains and hate home improvement projects. Kris and Katie, it's so good to have you two. I love it when I have 2 people on the podcast at once. It just adds extra fun, so welcome.
Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. Thanks.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about the Blog Fixer. I know you guys have helped so many food bloggers. I mean, as far as I can remember, I know that you guys have been helping food bloggers, but we'll get into that. We'll get into your story. Before we do you guys have a fun fact to share with us?
We do. So we are a married couple. We've been married 21 years. But the way we met is a little bit unique because we were in high school, but going to the college campus where we both ended up attending and taking this like really difficult scholarship exam that neither of us did very well on. But we were at a luncheon after that and happened to sit at the same table. And then Kris actually, he's really, really shy, but he actually tried to email me, except that my last name is super Polish and it has 7 consonants in a row, and he just had no chance of remembering how to spell it to like get my email.
Luckily, we ended up on the same floor that year. So
Aww.
Yeah, so we both remembered one another as freshmen, so it was meant to be.
So after you were freshmen, at what point did you start getting to know each other?
Well, we started dating the second semester of freshman year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that story. That's a good one. Well, thanks for sharing. And you're still here. You're still together. And you guys run a business together, right?
I mean, we both work from home and we each run our own businesses, but we help one another. Like I often say, Kris begs me to help him write emails and I beg him to do my tech stuff.
Nice. Yes. I know it'd be so great to have a tech person in my home. I always say that. So why don't you guys tell us your story? So Katie, you got started with a blog in 2009, correct?
Right. Way back then, I'm a teacher by trade and I taught elementary school for a couple of years, but then left to start our family. And we were very young and very poor. And I just needed to bring in a little extra money. So I was brainstorming, like, do I sell Pampered Chef? Should I tutor? Like, what can I do here to close this budget gap? And I had this idea for a book that in my head was called Kitchen Stewardship, where I was going to help moms like do things in the kitchen faster and better than I had because I'd been making a lot of mistakes as I tried to learn to cook. And I did not know at the time that writing a book is neither a fast nor effective way to make any money at all. But I emailed the editor of a small magazine I read for advice. And it's still mind blowing to me that he bothered to email back. Like, I can't even believe it, but it changed our entire family's lives because what he said was maybe you should start a blog to see if there's any sort of audience for your book idea. And literally, this is 2008. I'm like, what's a blog? I don't even know. I don't even know what it was. But by February 2009, I had kind of jumped in with both feet and leaned pretty heavily on the tech husband, across the room. Like, what is this? What do I do? What does this mean? HTML. I have no idea, I just wanted to write. And so he helped smooth that out a lot.
I don't think anyone knew what blogging was back then. I remember starting the same way. It was like blogging. Oh yeah, I think people write. They write somewhere online. But it's a process learning what is involved in blogging. I think even today it's like, wait, what? What do we do? So right away, Kris had tech knowledge, obviously. Did you go to school for that, Kris?
I did, yeah. I've always been a computer geek.
Yeah.
So yeah, my major in college was computer engineering, and I was dabbling in coding. I'm a big college basketball fan, and so in high school I wrote a program to help me to run pools for the March Madness tournament. So it's always been something I've done. And then I out of college I got a career where I was making home banking software for credit unions.
Oh, wow. Okay. So tech has always been a part of your life on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Katie started her blog, what were some of the first things that you were helping her with?
Well, I had a lot of experience in creating websites and putting things online. So that was kind of the first thing. I was the one that directed a WordPress as a platform right away. And I think we started on WordPress.org and pretty quickly transitioned to our own hosted WordPress so that she could monetize.
Right. I think it was 10 weeks. So I started blogging on the free WordPress. It was only like 10 weeks later, Kris said, if you're ever going to monetize, you might as well move over. And I was like, but that costs $10. I can't outlay money. I'm trying to make money, And actually at the time, I didn't even know if I would make money from it, but it took about 6 months. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that's actually a check coming in my mail, That's amazing. So he was pretty integral because I don't like the nitty gritty of tech. Like I'm not untech savvy, but I'm the girl whose senior year in high school in calculus was like, I am not learning any new technology. This graphing calculator is dead to me. I will do my work on paper.
And I love my graphing calculator.
He still has it. He won't even give it up.
You do not. Oh my goodness.
So we're very different in that particular sense. And it's been a good partnership though.
I'm with you, Katie. I don't think I ever got the calculator either. I didn't want to go to that realm. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. So I was going to ask you, Katie, about monetizing. Do you remember, was it Food Buzz? Is that what
Oh, yes, I do.
Do you remember Food Buzz? Okay.
I was with them.
Yeah, I was with them too. That was like the first early advertising. And I remember getting into that network and I was so excited and getting my first like $50 check and being so excited. And then it was like $150. And oh my gosh, those were the days, right? Okay, so Kris, after you started helping Katie just kind of get through the nitty gritty and get her blog up and running, at what point did you realize that something like the Blog Fixer needed to come into the scene?
It was definitely when Google announced the need for nofollow for monetized links.
Oh, that was a crisis.
Oh, I remember that.
And I must have been, I was a couple years into blogging and back then you would write, I wrote nearly every day because food blogging was so chill. You didn't even have to take a picture of your food. I would like make a new recipe, one night, sit on the couch, type it out and publish it by like 9 p.m. It was so different. So different in 2009 and 10 than now. And so I had hundreds of posts. And then we got, I don't even recall if it was an email or what. I think I thought it was no big deal. Like this is probably not real. Like this is all tech gobbledygook in this email. I don't really know what it means. But then in, blogger communities, which I guess I was probably on Twitter back then. It's so funny to even think back 16
Yeah.
years. And people were like, no, this is real. Like, this is legit. We have to touch every post and we have to add this ref equals no follow, rel equals no follow or whatever in your HTML. And I thought, this is it. Like, I'm going to have to sit for 2 months in the little work time that
This
I
is
have
my life.
raising babies, and not be able to post anything new and not be able to make an ebook or anything. And I was like, Kris, I'm in trouble. He's a real automation guy. That's something we both have in common. We're efficiency gurus. And so he thought, maybe I can automate that. Like maybe I can figure out how to make a bulk change and automate it so that you don't have to touch it. He's like, give me a couple weeks. I'm going to dig into it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please work. So the first time you ran it, tell us the number.
Yeah, we touched 21,000 links. The first thing I did was search to see if there's anything out there that could help us. And I didn't find anything. And I thought, well, this kind of thing, changing data is exactly what I was doing in my day job at the time for as a programmer. So yeah, I created a little plugin to basically identify when links are monetized and then add that no follow attribute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So the first time he ran it, it probably took, 5 minutes, 15 minutes.
Nah, it took 2 minutes.
Fancy. So yeah, it literally, he clicked the button and then it no followed 21,000 links. Can you even imagine, Megan, how long that would have taken me by hand?
Oh my gosh, no. I'm in awe. 21,000. So were you just like, I can't believe this just worked?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I was so thrilled. So pretty quickly after that, I thought my friends need this too.
Yeah, right. So you shared it with everyone else. And is that when the Blog Fixer was born?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So at the time I was still doing the day-to-day in the corporate world. And then on the side, I was helping all Katie's colleagues to follow their links.
Oh, that's so great. Okay. So that first one was a huge success. And then was it really obvious which other fixes needed to be born after that?
Yeah, it was. The plugin that I wrote was written in a modular way so that we could add new fixes pretty quickly. And we quickly realized that there are other things that need to change in mass in a typical site just to make them more efficient, make them better SEO, etc. So yeah, our youngest child was born, 10 years ago now. He was born in October. And then in January, I thought, hey, now's the time to quit my job and go full time into the Blog Fixer.
Oh, that's so good. So since then, you have helped many, many bloggers, and I think food bloggers are your main client, correct?
Yeah, just because the niche that Katie's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of our clients are food bloggers. We get a lot of DIY, bloggers and lots of different niches, but the vast majority is food bloggers.
And how many fixes do you have at this point?
We got to be pushing about 20, would be my guess.
Okay.
And I think they come to be, Kris is really good at listening to his audience, people who understand how the Blog Fixer works, which is basically, you can write an algorithm or write a rule to make a fix throughout all someone's posts at one time. And so, Kris and I work together a lot to figure out, well, how do we write that rule? Like, how did the Blog Fixer know which links were affiliate links? So I had to tell him, well, if the ending has this like gobbledygook on it, or if it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain constructs that affiliate links follow. And we probably identified 20 or 30 different constructs that affiliate links might follow. And then kind of taught, in some ways, Blog Fixer's not AI, but we're making it sound like it is. We kind of taught the Blog Fixer, like this is the rule, and then you can follow it. So anything that you can think of on your blog where you can write a rule to help the program find your links or your text or whatever, and then make a mass change, it can do that. And so it tends to be, new fixes tend to arise when something changes, like back when we started the SEO recommendation, for example, for where a link should open. No, everyone just opened all the links in the same page. And then there was sort of a turnover, and the SEO gurus, right, were saying, oh, everyone should open all of your links
external links in a new tab.
Well, and then mobile became more popular. And we were like, oh, everybody hates all these new tabs opening up on their phones. So then that rolled over again, and it was just more nuanced, right? Like maybe external links open in a new tab and internal links and you're at same tab, or you should
current recommendation is that every link opens in the same tab except potentially affiliate links can open in a new tab.
Right.
And those now have, the blog fixer has added, at least on my blog, because I get to run the blog fixer all the time. It has like one of those little arrows that it kind of identifies to show people, hey, this is going to open in a new tab, right? They have a little arrow in a box. So that's a really good example of how I've run that same fix probably 3 or 4 times because the recommendations have changed. And goodness, with 1,500 posts now, I don't want to touch everyone and change where the links open. Like that would be a really expensive VA, really
time consuming year. Gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things are always evolving. So you guys have to just kind of roll with the changes, I imagine. And evolve right along with the blogging world, which is, oh my gosh, crazy. I feel like it's evolving so fast right now. I don't remember the first blog fix I used, but I remember being frantic about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I need this fix. And somebody said to me, I don't even remember who, but they were like, oh, I have a solution. There's this plugin, the blog fixer, they can do it for you. And I was so amazed at how fast, because I, like you, Katie, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my life for like 2 years. I'm going to have to go through every single whatever and fix it. I think I've blocked it out because I have no recollection of what it was. But I just remember being like, wow, this is amazing. Hey, we have spots available for the 2025 mastermind groups, and I want to give you a chance to grab one of them. One of the super powerful and fun perks that come along with joining the group is gaining access to a members-only in-person retreat to kick off the year. For more information and to apply, go to eblogtalk.com/mastermind. Current member Dawn from Savor the Best talks about how much this retreat meant to her in the following clip.
In the very beginning of the year, we got together as a mastermind group in a retreat. I'll tell you what, I feel like that was the best way to start the group out. And I think that really started us out on the right foot. It wasn't just a video connection. It was a personal connection.
Do you guys have like really popular fixes that people come to you for, frantic like I did?
Yeah, there's a few fixes that are at the top of our list, and the first is no follow, like we just talked about. That's still a thing. It's still a thing that has to be done, and it's still a thing that a lot of people don't do. So no follow is still our most popular fix. Then we also deal with internal redirects. So what happens is a lot of people will go to an SEO guru who will do a whole big site audit, and they'll give them a list of all these things they need to change, right? Like hundreds of things, thousands of things that need to change. And we can do some of them in an automated fashion. And one of them that's often recommended by all these SEO gurus is to eliminate redirects internally. So if you have a link that, when clicked on, redirects to a different link, that causes extra server resources. It causes the reader to have to wait a little bit longer. So it's often recommended to just go straight to the redirected link. So that's one of our fixes. We call it internal redirect fix.
And the older your blog, the more likely you are to have some of the, it's like digital clutter, really, because maybe if you've changed your URL or if you've changed your slug structure,
if you change your permalink structure.
So back in 2009, the dates were in,
oh my gosh, this was my issue. URL. I think this was it, you guys. This is it. It's all coming back.
It's all coming back
because I had the dates and I had all of these redirects, and someone in the SEO world was like, "You have to fix this." So yes,
we did too at Kitchen Stewardship. So yeah.
So it's really, I always call it like the most exciting, boring technology in the world because it's the stuff that we don't want to touch. We want to write recipes and take photos and be creative and share with our readers, right? Like that's why we got into this. We didn't get into this because we want to dink around with little tech stuff and, and doing a site audit is really important once you have a few years under your belt and a few hundred or a few thousand posts, because we have to continually talk to Google and follow all the SEO rules. But it's also really boring and really tedious. And so, like you said, it's just such a great relief to go, oh, like task 1, 2, 3, and 4, the blog fixer can just do, and I can check that off, that off the list. And so that's one of the things we'll talk about at the end, is that Kris will give everyone in your audience a free site scan. So they don't even have to go to an expensive SEO guru.
That's awesome.
We can kind of see what they need. But also we want to teach people. So we've already talked about the appropriate link target, that people should be hitting right now, at least at this point, and that'll change again.
And that was my third suggestion as far as a popular fix. And again, this changes. It's changed each of the last 2 years as far as the suggestion goes, is where you should open your links and in what tab.
Do you guys get comments all the time from bloggers just like, thank you, you've saved my life, you've saved my world?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, think of all the time that you have saved bloggers. That's pretty amazing.
We like to say that the Blog Fixer is like a room full of VAs working on your blog at the same time. And so we even had our son, Paul, he graduated high school a year ago and has his own video editing business now. So we commissioned him to make like this fun little video showing like all these VAs in our room. Like, this is what the Blog Fixer does. So that's just a fun little video and a piece of our life that we've raised an entrepreneur as well.
I love that. So obviously the Blog Fixer, takes big problems and condenses them to little solutions. Is there anything else about the plugin that makes it unique and stand out?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is that the way it works, I'll get a little bit technical here, but behind the scenes, we're changing the content permanently. A lot of plugins work where they change it when the post is viewed. And if you disable the plugin or delete the plugin, the content goes back to the way it was. So we're making a permanent change one time. You can get rid of the Blog Fixer plugin at that point, and your content will stay fixed forever.
So to bring that down to normal person language, probably Megan, you and all of your audience have had the experience where you go onto someone else's site and you see short code that clearly you're not supposed to see, but it's because they removed a plugin or a plugin stopped being supported or went offline or whatever. And now that short code is visible. And it shouldn't be. So that's a really good example of the kind of plugin that the Blog Fixer is not, because it's actually making the change as if it's a real human and updating the post. So the moment the Blog Fixer runs, the changes are real and they're set. And then the other bit that Kris talked about is, again, the SEO gurus are always like, you have to remove plugins. You have too many plugins, right? And the deal with that is that many, many plugins run on load. So your reader comes to your site to get amazing recipe for cinnamon rolls. And, 5 or 10 or 15 plugins have to then do their thing. And they're all taking a fraction of a second. That is not the case with the Blog Fixer, because the changes are real and they're permanent in the post. And so it's not going to cause any sort of drag on load speed.
So if somebody's listening and they're like, I don't know, maybe I need a blog fix. I don't know. Where do they start?
Yeah. So we have, Katie mentioned this earlier, we have what we call our site scan, which evaluates your site against all the fixes we provide and gives you numbers and says, here's what we recommend that we could fix for you.
Right. So it might say, you have 21,000 links that probably should have been no followed, for example.
Okay.
Or all of your links are opening in a new tab and you shouldn't do that. We would fix 527 of those. So it allows you to see what's going on in your old, archived posts and everything, and where the Blog Fixer could make a change. I think, again, Kris is really good at adapting to what's happening, and people will come to him and say, I just got an email from Amazon, or I got an email from Google, or this SEO guy said this, and I think you can help me. And I think that's where understanding how the Blog Fixer works can be really powerful for people, like people in your audience. Once you get, okay, the Blog Fixer works by making a mass change where you can teach it a rule across your whole blog, then you can think, I have this problem. Maybe the Blog Fixer can help. And then when enough people say, hey, Blog Fixer, can you do this for me? He's like, all right, that's going to be a new, that'll be our next fix. Do you want to talk about the Amazon thing that happened last December?
Yeah. So end of last year, Amazon decided they were going to break all of their site stripe images. So if you got an image from Amazon as part of their affiliate program, they were just getting rid of those.
So some sites would have like hundreds or thousands of just dead, broken images, which looks horrible. That like decreases trust, right? When people go to your site and they see an empty space where there should be an image, they're like, oh, well, this blog's not up to date,
Right. Yeah. So we were first to market with a solution for that. It was less than a week. We were updating sites to fix that problem so that their images were still there come January.
And still affiliate linked. And
Nice. So you guys really do stay on top of it. Like you have to stay so relevant.
Yeah, there's always things that need to be changed. And again, there's always changes from Google and Amazon. And we do a lot of one-off custom fixes. People will come to us and say, hey, I'd like to change this. Can you do it? And then, as Katie said, if enough people have that problem, then yeah, we spin it up into a new fix to offer everybody. But we do a lot of also just one-off custom stuff too.
Do you find that most of your clients are seasoned food bloggers, like blogs that have been around for, 5+ years or something like that?
Yep. The more content you have, the more valuable we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like another one of my favorite fixes that I use a lot because I'm part of probably 200 affiliate programs. And I don't know if that's normal for food bloggers, but we're trying to make money off our site here. And so we want as many links as possible to be monetized. And it's such a pain when, maybe I've linked to basil and oregano and thyme from Mountain Rose Herbs. They used to have a fantastic affiliate program and then they killed it. And I'm like, great. Now all my links to all these herbs are not only not making me money, but they're also dead links that aren't working anymore. And that's so frustrating. And so Kris created the dead affiliate link fix where you can just wipe out all those links or change them to something else. If you can find a new affiliate program that compensates, you can change them. And so that's really handy because I don't want broken links on my site and I don't want to send traffic to a brand that killed their affiliate program for what I think is no good reason. You know what I mean? Like if the link isn't broken, I don't want to send them traffic for free. Like I want to monetize those links.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of a handy one too.
Do I remember wasn't there one where people were putting links in comments a lot and you have a fix where you can get rid of those links? Is that correct?
We do, yeah, because a lot of times those links get broken real fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can just wipe all those out so you just have a lot less broken links on your site.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about the Blog Fixer and how they help food bloggers or anything food bloggers need to know about you guys?
I think one thing that Kris has worked really hard on over the years is that food blogging community. It's very complicated actually for plugins to do what he does, to make mass changes, particularly for food bloggers, because we all have different recipe plugins. And so Kris has had to learn all these recipe plugins and where they store their data. And that's, boring tech geek stuff. But all that to say is it's very complicated to make sure that your recipes are updated too. So I think a lot of food bloggers, probably if you run like a search and replace, with one of the other free plugins, it's probably not seeing your recipe, the recipe body itself, because that's in a separate recipe plugin and it's stored in a different place. So that's something that Kris has been really good at, is making sure that the Blog Fixer sees and changes even these complicated recipe plugins.
Yeah, there's 100 different ways that data can be stored in WordPress. And so, yeah, we have to stay on top of all those ways and make sure that the Blog Fixer is compatible with all of them.
Yeah, it's a big job, but you guys solve so many little/big problems for food bloggers. So thank you for being in our space. I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure that most seasoned bloggers have heard of you and probably used you. But if not, they start with the free site scan offer. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. For on any of your listeners, they can go to blogfixer.com/eatblogtalk, and Kris will give them his site scan for free. Is that usually $50?
It's usually $50.
It's usually $50. Yep. So that's a pretty nice gift. So thank you for listening.
That's awesome. Yay,
and again, that will just run on your blog. And it is something like, it's good that we're chatting with you. And so we're building some trust with your audience, because people do need to give the Blog Fixer access to their site. Without access, we can't make any changes. So the Blog Fixer would then scan the whole site and give you numbers of what you might be able to fix. And then you can choose, right? If you use the Blog Fixer to fix it, or if you hire a VA.
I think that might be an important thing we haven't really touched on, is that all of our fixes are white glove. In other words, me and my staff will run your fixes for you. So, a lot of people don't want to understand how to install a plugin and how it works and stuff like that. You don't have to. Like, we do it all. We use the plugin, and that's why we can keep our prices where they are, because there's a lot of automation behind the scenes. But it's still our staff installing, configuring, optimizing the plugin, and then giving you basically your service, your positive changes for your site.
Well, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for the generous offer as well. We really, really appreciate that. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the Blog Fixer before we start saying goodbye, Kris and Katie?
I think we covered a lot, and we're looking forward to getting to know some of your audience members.
Yes, same. Thanks so much for being here. It was such a pleasure to connect with you guys finally after all these years and after having frantically used your service years ago.
I know, I love that your memory came flooding back. You're like, oh, that was it. I'm PTSD.
Oh, the dates. Oh gosh, I had so many blog posts at that point too. I think I messed a lot of stuff up, but yeah, I'm going to just not go there. Moving on, right? To end, I like to ask my guests if they have either a favorite quote or words of inspiration to leave us all with. What do you guys have for us?
We're not huge quote people, but I did, a lot of people have imposter syndrome, as an entrepreneur, as someone that runs their own blog or whatever. So I have gravitated towards Teddy Roosevelt's quote about it's not the critic who counts. And I'm not going to be able to recite the whole thing, but I was always touched by that, which basically says people who are judging are not the people who count. It's the people who are getting in the trenches and doing.
Yep, that in the arena, that we just need to trust ourselves. And, sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we've learned a lot. Kris has 10 years of experience, with the Blog Fixer, and actually beyond that, 15 years helping me with WordPress. So it's like he is in the arena. He doesn't know what he's doing. So it's a good quote to overcome imposter syndrome.
I love it. You're showing up. You were there. Yep. Well, thanks again, you guys. I know that you have that offer. Is there anywhere else you want to direct people? Your blog is theblogfixer.com, correct?
Yeah, blogfixer.com/eatblogtalk for the free site scan.
Awesome. We'll put together some show notes for you guys. So if you want to go look at those, head to eatblogtalk.com/blogfixer. So thank you for listening. And thank you so much for being here, Kris and Katie. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Eat Blog Talk. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you posted it to your social media feed and stories. I will see you next time.